Okay. Okay, so we're back. All right, so there's a couple of other alternate stocks that have had some interesting performance in the last week. And one that you mentioned to me is Express Incorporated.
Express,
yeah. I hadn't heard of it before. Had you heard of it before?
I haven't heard of it. I still haven't heard of it. I don't remember mentioning it to you.
Okay, well, we did talk about this
all right.
in the lead up to planning this.
Okay,
anyway.
all right.
Okay,
I'll take your word for it.
I'll tell you about them, okay?
All right.
So they're a fashion apparel brand in the US. They launched in 1980.
Yes, okay.
Been around for a while. They were formerly known as Express Parent LLC, which is not a really catchy name. So Express Incorporated is definitely a little more catchy. Don't mind the noise, guys.
Yeah,
We've mentioned what that is.
Don't worry about that.
Some cars. We like cars, so we're down here. And so the headquarters is in Ohio. And they've got a design studio in New York City. They've got 592 retail outlets in the US and Puerto Rico, which is random.
Puerto Rico is part of the US, though, so that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. In North America and Latin America.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if it's in Latin America, but yeah.
Is it not?
Oh, I don't know. Someone comment below.
Okay. I feel like it might be. I've never been to Latin
right.
America, though, so I can't comment.
That's all right.
And they've also got an online presence. Well, they certainly do now. Sorry. Tim Baxter's the CEO, and he's only been the CEO since June 2019. And he was previously the Chief Merchandising Officer at Macy's. Have you heard of Macy's?
I have heard of Macy's,
yeah. So it's like a David Jones in the US.
Yeah.
So they currently have 9,200 employees. And since 2014, they've lost 10,000 employees.
Wait, you said they have 9,000 Oh, okay, right. They
Okay.
didn't have... So
No,
they would have had 19,000.
So they did have
Yeah,
19,000.
yeah. I can do maths.
Yeah. Which is pretty insane. So that's giving you a bit of a picture of what their growth has been like, or the lack of.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's the thing that's in department stores, isn't it?
Yeah.
E-commerce switch.
Okay, so they currently have 200% debt equity ratio. So, for example, in Q3, so it's interesting because for their Q3 announcement for 2020, they didn't announce it until the 3rd of December. So I listened to the Motley Fool a few episodes ago, and one of the things that they mentioned was, I don't know how true it is, but they've found that some of the best performing companies come out with their earnings really quick, and a lot of the terrible companies with really bad earnings just come out with them like months after.
Yeah. Well, 2 months is still not too bad. But
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, very true.
Do you reckon it's true? I don't know.
Well, I don't know
if it's...
I mean, I haven't thought about it too much.
Okay.
I've also listened to a Motley Fool, which wasn't the American one.
Oh, yeah?
And they've said, don't really worry about when they come out.
Oh, really?
Because they're all just scheduled at certain points.
True.
And they kind of want to build their news around, not around each other, but like separate out their news sometimes. So, I don't know, it can be either thing. I'm not an expert, though. So
no, of course.
Don't talk to me.
Okay, so the net sales are down 30%, and they ended the quarter with 100 mil in cash in the bank. They reduced the workforce just in that quarter by 10%, which will reduce the 2021 expenses by 13 mil.
Okay, all right.
Which is good,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Digital transactions up 17% year on year.
Not bad.
Their gross margin on their products as an average is 4.3% compared to 28% same time last year.
Okay, all right. So not ideal, but you got to think about how it's a department store and
Correct.
the US is very locked down.
It is.
So,
Okay, so they've made a net loss for that quarter of 90 mil.
Yeah, okay.
Compared to 3 mil in the same quarter last year.
All right.
That's a pretty significant difference. And year to date, net loss of 350 mil. Same time last year, 22 mil.
Yeah, okay.
Which is pretty substantial. So they IPO'd in May 2010, and when they IPO'd, at the end of that day, they're at $16 a share. All-time high was 26, all-time low 60 cents.
Whoa.
Which was in October 2020.
Yeah.
And then January 25th, up 300%. to $4.
Yep.
January 27th,
Here we go.
up 1,000% to
1,000%.
$13.
Yeah.
Which is really nothing compared to GameStop.
Yeah.
But it's still interesting.
That's very impressive.
Currently down at $6. Okay,
$6.
so $13.
So it hit $13, yeah.
$13, and then what was that? 3 days ago, and then we're now at $6.
Yep.
They don't give out a dividend, and they've got 1.8 individual insider ownership.
Okay, that's pretty low.
1.8%, pretty low.
Yeah.
So, BlackRock, Vanguard, Bridgeway, JP Morgan, they're all significant shareholders in the company.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. And there's a company called Divisar or Divisar Capital Management, and they actually own 8.6%, which is 3.5% of their portfolio, which seems kind of significant to me.
Yeah.
Their portfolio mustn't be huge. But anyway, second company, and this one is particularly interesting.
Here we go.
Is AMC.
Ah, yes, incredible.
Okay? So AMC Entertainment Holdings, I believe, is the full name.
Yes.
And they basically just do movie cinemas. So that's nice and simple. They operate 1,000 theatres, so 1,000 individual theatres. Within those theatres, there's 11,000 screens.
So, can you recall the last time that you went to the movies yourself?
Yes. It was to see that Korean film.
Oh, yeah, with the guy that lives in the basement?
Yes.
And he comes out and
it was that.
late at night.
So that would have been at the start of 2020.
That won an Oscar, you know?
Oh, it was a great film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only I could remember the name.
The funny thing about that film, and it's the same with a lot of good films just with subtitles that aren't in sort of like English, which is the only language I can speak.
Yes.
Is that after a while you start to put a voice to the characters, and you kind of forget you're reading. It's very interesting.
True. Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
That's something that I can relate with.
Yeah.
And I'm actually looking up what
Are you
it
gonna
is
look it
because
up?
I'm so Parasite. That's it. Parasite.
Hectic movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. Okay, so AMC, they were founded in 1920. So it's
One of the classics.
Super old company.
Yeah.
I guess as of last year, 100-year-old company, which is pretty cool. Headquarters are in Kansas, and they're a subsidiary of a Chinese developer who also owns Hoyts for all of us here in Australia.
Yeah.
Okay. So talking about their performance, let's see here. In April, they issued $500 million worth of 10% first lien notes, which were due in 2025 to just try and get more capital. And then in July, they did the same, $300 million worth of 10.5% first lien notes. And in August, they sold a Baltic region. So Baltic region is apparently in Europe, and there's a sea called the Baltic Sea.
Yeah.
And there's a few countries like Latvia and Lithuania and stuff like that who border that sea.
So did you say they sold them at a rate of 10.5%?
Yeah.
Incredible. So they're selling bonds at 10.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so no one believes in them.
Yeah.
Junk bonds.
Yeah.
Do you have any clue? You probably won't. Any clue on the credit rating?
No.
I'm gonna say right here that it's got to be lower than. It's got to be single B.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
right.
say single B or even down to the C's.
Hectic. Okay, so they've sold that, raised a total of 800 mil, and they sold the Baltic region of their theatres, which was 77 mil, when they sold all of those theatres in that area, those countries.
Yep.
And they issued 30 mil worth of new stock, which raised another almost 100 mil. So they're just raising money. That's 900, almost a bill.
Yeah.
And as of Q3, their revenue, this is just crazy. Their revenue was down $1.2 billion, which is down 90%.
Yeah.
To 120 million.
Yep. That's yes. That's
which is crazy. Like considering that same time last year, so this is year on year. Same time last year, it was 1.3 blah 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 billion. This year, 120 million. Crazy. Net loss of 900 million compared to 54 million year on year, $850 million difference. The US theatre attendance was down 97%.
97, yeah. It makes sense too, because I think that they were primarily closed in some areas. I actually have an interesting one about that. I saw a guy that made his own film, and then he went and opened special viewings for the film.
Oh, yeah.
And then he bought all of the tickets at all of the different venues, which meant that he got on the box office list for the highest grossing film of the week, which meant that he was eligible to run for certain awards. So it was pretty smart. So he spent, I don't know what he spent, I think he spent $30,000 on tickets.
Yeah.
Which is pretty smart to get
True.
your own review.
That's a great story.
And then it doesn't have to, it could be the awfulest film, but it will be shown at a festival.
Could be nothing.
Might be shown at South by Southwest, might be shown at the Oscars.
True.
Who knows?
Dang. That's interesting. So they IPO'd in 2013. And so they finished the day on their IPO at $20. All-time high of $36, which is 2015, 2 years later. All-time low of $2, again, just the first week of January.
Yeah.
All-time low, $2, or thereabouts. Then, a little different to Express, you could see just a slight change about midway through January as the trajectory just turned very slightly.
Yeah.
It sort of dipped under $2, and then it just slowly started to climb, just so incrementally.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't think anything of it unless you're looking back in hindsight. And then on the 27th of January, it was up 700%.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was just under $20.
So wild. Yeah.
Which is pretty wild. So it's currently still sitting at about $13.
Yeah.
And
now, is that a buy from you, Nathan?
It's not.
Okay. But after all these great facts, like 97% less people.
So this is an interesting one. So you've talked a little bit about companies who have been squeezed out of positions and they've lost, what did you say, $1 billion or $2 billion?
The shorters have lost $19 billion.
No, sorry. What was that individual company that the guy
the individual one lost 2.8.
2.8. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's crazy, and so I'm not going to be able to live up to that. But this is an interesting story. So Mudrick Capital, which I had not heard of before.
No. Yeah.
In December 2020, so I don't know, a month ago, right? They sold, as it was sort of coming down to its bottom, basically, of the dip.
Bottom.
They sold 9.3 million shares at, and I'd calculated it because they did it in multiple batches, but it was at about an average price of $2.90.
Okay.
So just remembering, all-time low was $2, and the other week it got up to $20, right?
Yeah.
So almost all-time low, they sold them at $2.90, which gained them 27 mil.
Okay, yeah.
In cash or whatever, right? That's what they walked away with.
Yeah.
If they had have sold it at the current price of $13, not $20, it'd be 123 mil.
Yeah.
So they literally chucked away 100 mil.
Gains left on the table. Gains left on the table.
So I don't know who called that trade.
Yeah.
But they'd feel a little silly.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Maybe not.
No, I think you would. You're definitely right. Yeah.
And I mean, Vanguard, BlackRock also have a fairly notable share in the company still. And so I feel like every company I look up, Vanguard have a share in.
At the same time, when you're trading on behalf of a company, you have different feelings towards making your own money.
No, it's more just looking silly.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's all I would have thought.
Yeah. I
don't know.
No, you're probably right. Yeah.
Okay, do you have any other thoughts? I have one other thought, but...
Well, I was thinking about commissions, because that's what I would have been sad about. Like, you're missing out on an extra... If you make 10% of your trades, but if 10% of your profits of your trades...
They wouldn't have made a profit, though, because it's almost all-time low, right?
Yeah, true. So, yeah, but I'm saying that you're missing out on that...
Yes.
You're missing out on
personally,
that profit.
Yeah, I understand.
You're missing out on that sick personal gain.
Correct. So, yeah. Any other topics? I have a topic.
I don't have any other topics.
Okay, so...
Unless you want to talk about Dogecoin, am I right?
No, I don't.